We did a wonderfully successful voter registration gig at Walled Lake Northern today. It was very exciting to see the grins on the kids' faces who got a chance to vote yesterday. Because we asked in each classroom, Walled Lake lets us go right into classrooms, which is wonderful. And we asked in each classroom, how many of you are already registered to vote? And there were a significant number, because Rob and Henry have already been in there once this year. And then we said, well, who voted yesterday? And every single kid who raised their hand, and it was a handful in each classroom, had the biggest grin on their faces. And the one young man that we talked to had dragged his sister, and she registered that day, got her ballot, and voted. So, yeah, it was a great story. It was wonderful. So, welcome. Glad you're all here. We have a really full agenda, so I'm going to jump in, but I do know we have a few new people tonight. So would you please acknowledge yourself so we can welcome you? Oh, come on. There they are. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to just jump ahead because we have some speakers who came quite a distance, so really give them the Indivisible Huron Valley welcome. So our first speaker is Eli Isaguirre, who is the campaign manager for Fair Tax Michigan, something we've had a bit of discussion about within this group. So he's going to let us know where they're going with their ballot initiative, and I'm sure if he has a volunteer sign-up sheet, we usually put those on this table right over here. I think he might not, but he may want to put something out because among this group, I would guess we collected tens of thousands of signatures for Prop 2 and Prop 3. So this is an active group, so we're good at that.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. As she said, my name's Eli Isaguirre. I'm the campaign manager for Fair Tax Michigan. I feel like I've met quite a few of you in this room at some point or another. I've been working in politics in Michigan for about 10 years. On different congressional races. I was Mark Schauer's personal assistant when he ran for governor. And most recently, the job that I just left 2 weeks ago, I was the deputy district director for Congresswoman Haley Stevens. So I've interacted, I think, with a few of you at our events and things like that. But I took the jump back into the campaign world and work with a group, Fair Tax Michigan, who's working on a ballot initiative to move to a graduated income tax in the state of Michigan. And things are moving. We do not have the petitions yet in hand, but I will update you guys on our path that we're on right now. So first, just want you to start to think about, and I won't go through all of this, but what does your community look like when it is fully funded? What would your community actually look like if we were funding the things that matter in our state? Our schools, our roads, our infrastructure, things like that. What could we actually do if that's the world we were in? So right now, we've seen school funding has plummeted over the last few years. And it's not just school funding, it's really across the board. We've seen a decline in almost $10 billion now in the money that our state is putting aside for the general fund for education. So we have a systemic issue and a legislature that's unwilling to do anything to actually fix this. We saw the governor come out with a proposal last year to fix the infrastructure issues we have, and we didn't see a single alternative plan. And so the coalition that I'm working with has come up with an idea. This tax structure we have, who benefits from it the most? You can see, the highest earners that make over $422,000 pay about 6.25% when it's all said and done, and the lowest earners are almost to 10.5% because they don't have the things they can write off. And this is just not fair. It's fundamentally wrong, and it's why our government is systemically underfunding everything we have. So we've got a lot of work to do, and our coalition, we're made up of grassroots organizations from around the state. It's a growing list of people who have been fighting and involved in this fight for a long time. It started with a group out of Detroit who had been working on the Detroit schools the issues we had there when they went through their bankruptcy, things like that, it's spread dramatically across the state, from parents' organizations, administrators, faith-based groups, anyone who's sick of looking at their community and seeing the problems that are there just because we're not making everyone pay their fair share. So we've got a plan. Our plan is for a ballot initiative for 2020 to get a graduated income tax on the ballot. So this is what it looks like. A graduated income tax means we'd give a little bit of a tax break for everyone that makes under $175,000 individually and $300,000 as joint filers, and a small tax increase for everyone that makes above that. So what our language says, that we would constitutionally mandate that they come up with a plan that raises $1.5 billion in new revenue, and this would be earmarked, 50% for the school aid fund and 50% for the newly created infrastructure fund. And this would be funding water, energy, sewage, things that we really care about, right? Thank you. And the thing is, we have no dedicated income right now to fund water infrastructure in this state. I'm from Flint, Michigan. We've had a lot of issues in the city of Flint. And it's not just there. You know, we have the greatest number of PFAS sites of any state in the country right now. Yeah, we've tested more for it, but we're the Great Lakes state. We need to have a path forward to fix this. So, we know that most other states that have income tax have a graduated income tax, but we have a ban on that in our state constitution. So we need to do something to fix that. We need to get 425,000 valid signatures. It's a lot bigger number because it is a constitutional amendment, and a lot of people voted in the state in 2018. It's a good problem to have that we had that big of a voter turnout, but it makes this threshold a little bit more difficult to actually get there. So we've got our timeline. Right now, the Board of Canvassers has our petitions. They're supposed to get back with us by the end of the month and let us know whether we can move forward or not. As soon as they do, we are going to be off and running because they have to be turned in at the beginning of July. July 6th is our deadline. So it's a really tight window that we're trying to get this done. And we know there's some other issues that are popping up now nationally that might stand in our way. So as of right now, we are moving forward. We are getting all of our coalition partners together and making sure they're ready for day one when we have a launch. The governor's talked about this as an alternative for ways to find funding in our state. We know this is a piece. This isn't going to fill the fund we need. It's closer to $4 billion we need for education and infrastructure right now, but this goes a long way in at least starting to dig ourselves out of that hole. 34 of 43 states that have income tax have a graduated income tax. Our federal government has a graduated income tax. So I'm already getting a lot of pushback from the chamber. They seem to think that anything that would move us off of our current plan would the sky would be falling. It wouldn't. We'd be coming in line with other states. We saw what happened when Minnesota went to a graduated income tax at the same time that Rick Snyder was cutting corporate income tax. There are things that have systemically been wrong, that there's been one party pushing these issues. So we really need to do what we can to get ourselves out of this situation. So I knew I threw a lot of information at you guys right now. You want to plug our website a little bit. It's fairtaxmi.org. We launched actually today. We sent the launch email out. There's a way for folks to sign up to be petition gatherers, to be petition captains, and to donate to the campaign. Do we have any questions or anything that I can answer? Yes?
Are you doing anything about taking the tax off of pensions?
So this doesn't have anything to do with the pension, no. Yes?
Like, we pay a 4.6 state tax.
4.25 right now.
How's that going to,
Yep.
how's that set up where some people are paying 10%?
So it's their overall income. That is what they end up paying in state and local taxes when you combine everything together, as opposed to folks at the top that only are just paying that little bit of income tax and then are able to avoid a lot of the other taxes. Yes?
Concerning petitions, during the lame duck of 2018, they passed a thing that you had to only gather 15,000 per district, and you had to know your district number. Is that still
That is
something?
not still law. So that has been thrown out at this point.
Oh, good.
There's a chance that the Republicans are going to try to continue it up the chain, but as of right now, that is not an enforceable law.
Okay, so you just need to know.
Just need the signatures.
And you just need to know what county you live in.
Yep, just the county. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Eli,
Yes.
in terms of your timeline, are you done with the Board of Canvassers?
We are waiting on them right now. So that's the holdup. Right. Yep. So that is the holdup we're dealing with right now. Right. Right. Any other questions I could answer quickly? Yes.
The 1.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
How are you getting there?
Yeah, so it is left up to the legislature to set the brackets. So, for example, we could lower taxes for the first $75,000 you make, drop it to 4.15% or 4%. Then for the next 100,000, we'd keep it at the 4.25%, and then after that, they will have to decide. If the legislature doesn't decide where they want the brackets to be, then the governor would be allowed to do that through executive order. That's what's written. So we don't have a top bracket here. It'd be ideal to keep it under 10%, but we are going to leave that flexibility up to them with the ever-changing economy to decide where they need to be to make sure we have enough income coming in.
But is the drive still 1.5?
The drive mandates the 1.5 billion in new revenue. And it says they cannot move the other revenue around with a lot of their issues and things that they've done in the past. Pull money out of the school aid fund and put it in. They're not allowed to do that in the way that the language is written.
It does say they can't do it in such a way that
Yes.
it may increase everybody's tax.
Right. Yes, it is written in there. Yep. And I am not an attorney, but Mark Brewer is our attorney, and so he's the one that oversaw the writing of this, along with someone from the League for Public Policy. So they are the ones that actually wrote the language. Any other questions I could answer right now? All right. Well, I do want to let you know I don't have sign-in sheets. Sorry, I was not planning to be coming down here today to do this presentation, but was able to pick it up last minute. So I will leave a sheet of paper. If folks are interested in being a part of this, you can sign that, or go to fairtaxmi.org, and there's the spot right there to fill it out as well. So, just a couple of the ways people can be involved. So we do have anchor organizations. Those are the organizations that I showed you up front. Those are ones that are applying for grant funding, things like that, so that they can have a staff member dedicated to this work. And we ask all of those anchor organizations, we look at their reach, people that they can get together, and come up with a number of teams that they need to come up with. So a team leader is responsible for finding about 1,500 signatures. So we break that down to finding 10 people on their team and each person getting 150 signatures. So 150 signatures isn't a ton. It's your personal network and maybe a day or two out in the community, and you can get those. So these are real goals that we think folks can get. So looking for team leaders, people that are willing to come up with 10 other individuals and meet that goal, or just individual gatherers, folks that can commit to 150 signatures, and then any organization that would be willing to sign on, make that commitment, and then we allow them to join us at the decision-making table at that point. So I'm going to cut it off right there, but please reach out to me if you're interested. Jump on the website, and I'll be here for a few minutes as the next group kind of presents here if folks want to chat with me at all afterwards. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. If sitting in the audience here, this is something that you really feel you would want to be engaged with, like when we did Prop 2, I was kind of point person for Indivisible Huron Valley for Prop 2. Come and talk to us, then you can become our liaison with Eli and his organization, because I'm sure that it's something that at least a fair number of our people may want to be engaged with and help collect some signatures. So if that's something that you say, this is something I believe in and I want to be involved with, come talk to one of the people on the steering committee and let us know that that's something you would like to take on, okay? So we're going to move things around a little bit differently than the agenda because we had a little tech glitch and Eli's generously agreed to stay a little longer so Caitlin can use a cable. Yay! I have known Caitlin for a wee bit now. It's been how many years, Nancy, since we started going down to Detroit? Like 4 years? 4 years? And we got real involved with them with their immigration program and their sanctuary families, and which Caitlin was instrumental in working through. She is now, I'm going to read this because I want to get it right, Community Director for Michigan Hometown Voices, right? And they're starting a deep canvassing project to get the vote out. And so she is here to present her program to us. And I know this is something that we all care deeply about. That get the vote out thing has become so important to all of us. And she has with her, wait, I wrote the name down because I don't know her yet. I know I will. Jill Murphy, who is working with her at Michigan United. And she's going to share her program with us.
And Susan giveaways too. Susan's part of our...
Oh, Susan is actually kind of a neighbor of ours. You're from Wolverine Lake, right? Yeah, no, we've met Susan before through the statewide Indivisible group and a couple of other rallies. So Susan's been really active in getting this going. So thank you for coming. I'm glad you're able to make it. Oh my gosh. So was Caitlin probably. I think she lives there.
Thank you for the intro. So again, I'm Caitlin Homrich-Knieling. I originally grew up in the Thumb in a working class area. And I got involved in Michigan United through the immigration work, and I knew in my heart, my passion was we need to do organizing in more and more rural and small town areas and bring these people into our multiracial base that we're building at Michigan United and in progressive organizations that work with us, like this Indivisible group. So we started Michigan Hometown Voices as a listening campaign 1 year ago, and Joe's going to talk about why she got involved, and then I'll share just a little bit more, and then we have a video to show you what kind of work we do.
And I'm Jill Murphy. Thank you for having us here. I'm originally from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, born and raised here, but my family is also from the UP in Munising, so I've identified with the UP more along than Grosse Pointe. I am a former teacher, so rock on for those teachers. I just moved back this summer from Phoenix, Arizona. I've been teaching out there for the last 12 years, and it was hard to leave teaching, but after seeing what my students and their families went through with family separation and deportation, I really wanted to get involved with immigration policy and came across Michigan United and started working with Caitlin and have been fortunate enough to continue the Steep Canvas project because it has blown my mind in order to have these difficult conversations in a beautiful way and not argue. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, so we have two sort of branches to the listening campaign. There's more friendly, soft sort of listening sessions that we do, or relational conversations with people you know. That's just kind of registering what issues are people most impacted by so that we can develop more campaigns after this election cycle. The other branch is a door-to-door canvas that is radically non-judgmental and loving and caring, but also we do not budge on our values. And we were able to, on the doors, in a rigorous research project, on the doors, 49% of people in rural northern Macomb County and St. Clair County said that they had significantly changed their mind on a very important issue, very controversial issue. And 5 months later, 10% of them have still changed their mind. And that issue is including undocumented immigrants in universal health care. So, yeah, so I'm going to show you this video. We were still iterating the script at this time, and we were testing it in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to ask that you stop the recording for this, though, because Josh has not consented to this being public. That was one of the easier conversations. We have other videos of conversations that are a bit more difficult, but still, so that 10% long-term change is from people being completely opposed to being completely in support, right? And in addition to that, 4% of people used to be Trump supporters and say they would no longer vote for Trump. And you saw how much we brought that up. Not at all. So, so we're launching another round of this canvas in this area, in still the northern parts of Metro Detroit, down probably all the way to Monroe, over to Howell. And we're hiring a lot of people. So we'd love for you to spread the word. If you know anybody who's looking to get involved at a volunteer or for a job this summer, we have a great program. And if you'd like to get involved yourself, this is our survey link to get into our listening campaign. So to register what issues are most important to you and to sign up to get involved. And we'll also leave a sign-in sheet here for you.
And we have some flyers for you to pass out to friends and family with the information about hiring canvassers. But we also have some information about our monthly meetings that we host in person or over video conference call. It's every second Thursday of the month where we talk about these topics, whether it's incarceration, immigration, education, healthcare, all of that. It's a place for you to speak your piece and get your voice heard and be part of this conversation and build our agenda so that everyone is included in this conversation.
And we could talk about potentially having an in-depth deep canvas training for members if that's something you're interested in. But we also are providing regular trainings. Jill's holding one tomorrow north of Detroit a little bit. So if you want to take one and pass it on, and then wash your hands at some point. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm good. So are there any questions? I would encourage you to type this into your phone browser right now so that you don't lose it. So everybody, open up their smartphone if they have one, and go to Safari or Chrome or whatever that browser is. It's bit.ly/Hometown Voices. So any questions? Yes, Nomi. Yeah, and both Jill's and my contact information is on that flyer. Yes.
Yeah, contact info is on the flyer for both me and Caitlin, and on the back for the hiring. It just, thank you for the modeling over there, teacher, I'm assuming, Sam at Wi-Fi. But my information's on there for hiring, but feel free to call both of us.
Any other questions? Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks for having us. Oh, wait, one more thing. The next opportunity to get involved is our strategy summit, so we'll just pass out some flyers for that as well. That'll be in Ann Arbor on Saturday, April 4th.
It will go in the newsletter. Thank God I can keep saying that. You know, it's so much nicer to be able. Yes, John will put that in the newsletter. Thank you. Thank you for coming all this way. Thank you. And again, it's something there's so much out there, but as we talked about, and we will talk about a lot at our June meeting, I believe it is, Pat will help me with that. We are going to do a self-care meeting on how, there's a lot out there, and you're going to choose what your passions are, and you're going to go for it, because you're going to take care of yourself as well. But we're trying to introduce you to all the things that are out there where your good energies can go. But we can't all do everything, but we can all do something. So that's where we're heading with this. So I have never had such an efficient group of speakers in my life. So we are now lucky to introduce Mrs. Gwen Markham. And you are County Commissioner in the Novi area, correct? I want to make sure I got that right. And who's going to talk to us about kind of the status of our county commission at this point, what the big issues are, and kind of make a plea, because there are open spots to run for county commissioner, as we keep bringing up. And we do have one of our local candidates here today with her flashy name tag. Stand up and identify yourself, Karen Adams. She is running to represent a fair chunk of you in the Commerce area, so Jeff Long was going to be here as well. He kind of benefits from the fact he has the Long name, but he is not tied to the Long family that we all know and love. He's the good Longs. No value judgment there. They do have good apples. So he will be at another meeting to meet all of you as well, but he had another commitment tonight and wasn't able to come. So I turn it over to Gwen.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. As she said, I'm Gwen Markham. I am Oakland County Commissioner for District 9, which is Novi, Northville, and Novi Township, which is actually 100 homes, a little teeny tiny township. I have been a commissioner for 1 year. I got elected in November of 2018 in the blue wave. And when that happened, I was one of 4 Democrats who flipped Republican seats, and we were able to take over the commission with a Democratic majority for the first time in 42 years. And depending on where we are and what event we're at and who's all there, Dave Woodward will point to me and he'll say she's the majority maker, or he'll point to Kristen Nelson and say she's the majority maker. So he's trying to flatter us, but without all of us, we wouldn't have been able to do it. I just want to give a shout out to Indivisible in general, okay? So I've been in politics quite a long time. I was on the Novi City Council, first elected in 2013, but I come from a political family, and so I grew up in politics. We talk politics. In the primary, there's 4 of us living in our house. There were 3 different people that were voted for in the primary yesterday, so I'm a very political person. So it's been kind of a slog to try and move things toward a more progressive way of thinking out in this part of the world, right? You all know that. You live here. And when 2016 happened and everybody was just crushed by what happened, where are we going from here? This group didn't exist in 2016. Neither did Indivisible Troy. Neither did Indivisible Huron Valley or Indivisible Michigan. Indivisible Northville is the club I'm a member of. This has happened all over the county, all over the country. I'm super, super excited by how many people decided they were going to join me and everybody else who'd been out here for a while and, make things happen. So if you've been in the fight for a long time, great. I see some of you I've known a long time. If you're relatively new, that's great too. No judgments here, man. We're happy to have everybody on the team. So I'll tell you a little bit about the county commission. I know this is hard to see. It doesn't matter. You're over on the right. You're over here. We have 21 districts. There are 11 Democrats and 10 Republicans. So we have been able to enact some really cool things, which I will tell you about in a minute, but I'm going to start with the candidacy part of it. So this district down here, the yellow one, is District 8. It includes South Lyon, Lyon Township. I wrote them all down. Give me a second here. South Lyon, Lyon Township, Milford Township, Village of Milford, Wixom. Okay. Your current county commissioner is Phil Weipert. He's a Republican. He's actually not a bad dude. Of all the Republicans that I have to work with, he's one of the more moderate, and we serve on committees together, and he's voted with our team occasionally, but still, he's a Republican. He votes the wrong way most of the time. We need to replace him. I will say he's very popular in his own community. Any of you who are from that general area, you will tell me that. But we have a woman who put her name on the ballot 2 years ago. Her name is Tony Nagy. She was on the Novi City Council years back. She's moved to Wixom. She agreed to put her name on the ballot because it's really important to us that the outside world recognizes that the Democratic Party is viable across the board. We're going to have somebody on the ballot, right? So Tony agreed to run. She has agreed to do that again. But if there's somebody out here that thinks they might want to step into that and put their name on the ballot instead and maybe learn a little bit about how to run for office or whatever your reason might be, let me know. Because we'll leave Tony on the ballot, but if there's somebody who's more motivated, we'd love to have you, okay? So I'm in the purple district down here, Novi and Northville. This one right here, this green one, that's number 7. Your current commissioner is Christine Long, and the other Longs, the apple trees and all that. Yeah. Right. She had a Trump rally at her farm one time, you know. Yeah, but I'll tell you something else about her in a minute. But well, I will. So that district is Walled Lake, Commerce Township, Wolverine Lake, and part of West Bloomfield Township, and that's where Karen is running. So, woohoo! Karen ran once before and came close. That's really good for a first time out in a red district. It really is. And so she has a good shot at it this time, and we would really love to have more than just that one vote majority. So whatever you can do to help Karen, please do. Okay, so district number 6 is this kind of pinky one right there. That is Eileen Kowal. Right. Yeah, we're not partisan, but I would say, you know, she really is, she's very influential in that direction, okay? She's a very strong commissioner for their side, and I'll just put it that way. It's White Lake Township and Waterford Township, and Jeff Long has agreed to run there, and we like him a lot. He's not here tonight, but we're really happy he has stepped up, and please support him. And then the district at the top, this big green district up there. The commissioner is Bob Hoffman. It's district number 2. It's Groveland, Highland, Holly, Springfield, and Rose Townships, and the village of Holly. And we have a gentleman who has said he thinks he wants to run for that seat. Yay! Jim Williams. So thank you very much. And for any of you, you know, if you need help, you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. So that's kind of the status of what we're trying to do out here, move some of these red districts to blue, one cycle, the next cycle, and so on. And there's really great progress, and we have such a great group of people out here really working the doors, you know, which was not happening 4 years ago for sure. So, okay, so I'm going to give you some updates from the county. The first one I'll talk about is coronavirus, because the county health department really is the place you want to go to for the information on the coronavirus. And why do you want to listen to the county health department as opposed to the state or the feds? Because it's here. They deal with our local hospitals. They're dealing with all of the emergency people. They are the conduit to the state. They're talking to them, you know, all day long. So the status is changing very quickly. Oakland County, as you probably heard today, has a confirmed case. As of this afternoon, there had been 77 tests done on Oakland County residents. 35 of them have been shown to have no coronavirus. The rest are still pending tests, and then that one person had the virus. So that person has been quarantined. And the main thing that they're recommending that we do, and it seems simple enough, is just exactly what we're all doing. We're washing our hands. We're sitting a little farther apart from each other. When you come to a group setting, you know, we're not putting our hands all over each other right now. You know, it's just not a good season for that. So, you know, do the elbow bump, or people are recommending that we bow to each other and just say hello and those kinds of things. Just try to get in the habit of not touching each other so much. Carry your own pen. Don't share writing instruments with folks. Carry your own pen. Little things like that you can do to just keep the virus from spreading around, and be aware of who you encounter that's elderly or immune suppressed, because you have to really protect them. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be politically correct here, but you know what I'm saying. The older demographic, we need to be careful that we're not exposing people ourselves, right? So if you want to know every day what's going on, go to oakgov.com, which is the county's website, And right on the front page, there's a coronavirus button. And if you go, oakgov, OAKGOV.com. Nope, it's .com. I know. When they did the website way back when, they were whatever. Anyway, that's the website, and right on the front page is a coronavirus button. And if you follow that, they have toolkits for the general public. If you own a restaurant, they have a toolkit for restaurant owners. If you work at a school, they have toolkits for schools, so that you can download posters to hang around, or hand washing messages and that sort of thing, and then all just sorts of different information. It's very comprehensive. It's being added to all day long. And you can get the current up-to-date information there too. It'll say cases in Michigan and cases in the United States, and if you click through, it'll tell you all of the latest data. So that's where you want to go if you want to know what the latest is on coronavirus. But a lot of things are being canceled. And don't be surprised if more and more schools are being shut down and things are being canceled. It's not because we know there's so many cases out there. It's because we don't know how many cases are out there. The United States, compared to some of the other countries, has really not done a great job of getting test kits out fast. So there are people in the population that probably have it that don't realize it. And so that's why it's being recommended that we just don't get in real close contact with each other for a few weeks here till they get a real handle on what's what. So that's where that is. Anybody have any questions about that while I'm on the subject? Hi, Nomi, yeah?
If somebody thinks they need to get tested, where do they go?
That's a really great question. So I didn't write it down, but you call the nurse on call at the county. I've got the phone number somewhere. It is on the website, but call the nurse on call, and then they will tell you what to do next. That's what the county is recommending. Anybody who thinks they have been in contact or knows somebody that maybe needs to be tested, that's where we're going. And then they're doing, they're triaging who should be tested and so on, and that's until we have enough test kits. They're testing people who've been out of the country, people who have traveled, and so on. But if you feel like you're sick and you think you may have it, definitely, nurse on call. They don't want you going to the doctor's office. They don't want you necessarily going to the ER unless you have to, right? Because they don't want us spreading it to everybody else. And they don't want people to trying to buy the masks and all that, because we need the healthcare providers to have the masks available to them. I don't know how many of you have been in the stores trying to buy Purell and wet ones. Okay, so I could not find it all day. I was driving around looking for it. I finally went home and ordered some from Amazon. And as I was on Amazon trying to order wet ones, they kept popping up, no longer available, no longer available. So, people are going crazy. One of my kids works at Target and says, the toilet paper shelf is completely empty. So, I don't know. People are a little bit crazy. You don't have to be. Just take good precautions, protect yourself. Yes. Yes, the tests will be paid for. The state of Michigan has said that they will, and Oakland County as well, tests will be free. Nobody's going to have to pay for the testing themselves. Anything else on coronavirus? Okay. The other program I wanted to tell you about that I'm kind of proud of the county for doing is, as part of the Oakland County Bicentennial, which is this year, we are distributing 20,000 oak tree seedlings throughout the county to anybody who wants them. And, obviously it's Oakland County, and the oak tree is very important to our history. But we also, now that my team has the majority, and we believe in climate change. Before our team took the majority, you were not allowed to put climate and change together in a sentence in Oakland County literature. I'll tell you something else. You were not allowed to say birth control in Oakland County literature. I'm not kidding you. We're still digging out some of these anachronisms, right? Yeah. They did not. No, it did not exist. Not in Oakland County. Well, it's a little side thing, but because they did not want to be involved with birth control, they pushed all of the Title X birth control, which is low-income birth control, federal money, right? They pushed all of that to the Planned Parenthood clinic in Ferndale for years, right? And then this year, Donald Trump came out and said, if you're involved with abortions at all, you can't have any Title X money. Well, he said Planned Parenthood can't have any Title X money, right? So all of a sudden, the one clinic that we had providing birth control to low-income people in this county couldn't get any of the federal money. We're leaving federal money on the table because the only clinic we have in Oakland County was Planned Parenthood. So you know what we did? We gave Planned Parenthood money to function this year, and we took the Title X money into the county, and we're opening up 2 great new expanded healthcare clinics in Pontiac and Southfield, a $4 million investment to provide primary care, just a whole host of healthcare for low-income people across our county. And we saw a presentation this morning demographically, the what's it called? The actuarial thing when you die. In Pontiac, it's 66. 10 miles over in Troy, it's 86. That's the disparity in life expectancy between those 2 communities, because the communities like Pontiac are they're not only food deserts, they're also healthcare deserts. And so this was targeted to those areas of our county, and I'm just really, really proud that we're going to go ahead and do that. So, since Donald Trump thought he was going to put the screws to Planned Parenthood, he pushed us by those actions to do way more than we had been thinking about. And that's kind of analogous to the whole Indivisible thing, right? Be careful what you wish for, Mr. President. So anyway, back to the trees. I wanted to tell you how this is going to work. So we sent out letters to all of the cities, villages, and townships and told them about this program. We told them we were offering them trees in bundles of 25. They're about this big. They're bare-rooted. And they will be distributed by the cities, villages, and townships individually. And we're going to provide them the materials to do that. So if you come and you want a tree and I give you a tree, it's got information on how to plant it, where to plant it, and all of that. So I wanted to tell you which communities here had requested trees. So if you want to be part of whatever they're doing, a lot of the communities said, well, we're just going to have an Arbor Day event or an Earth Day event. And that's what we're targeting toward. The trees are coming to us on April 15th-ish. They'll be distributed within the next 10 days. We're working with Relief Michigan and Michigan State Extension. Those are the 2 groups that are kind of doing it for us. We provided the money and the idea and the plan, and those are the folks who really know how to distribute trees. And so we hired them to help us with this. So the communities that are doing this that are in this area: Independence Township, Lyon Township, Milford Township, West Bloomfield, this isn't a very good sheet, City of Wixom, Groveland Township, Highland Garden Club, Rose Township, Village of Holly, Village of Wolverine Lake, White Lake Township, City of Milford. Yeah, so if I didn't call out your city or village, ask me, I might have missed it on the list. Commerce. Commerce is a village, aren't they? No, we're a township. You're a township. Milford's a village. Commerce is. I don't think Commerce asked. Which is interesting because, and this was the funny thing I was going to tell you about Chris Long, we had to form a committee to do this 20,000 trees thing, and it had to be 3 people, chairperson, which I am, and then we had to have a Republican and a Democrat, and Chris Long ended up being our Republican because she's a farmer, and she had a lot of good insight, and she's been fun to have on this committee. So she's part of the 20,000 trees program, and I will ask her to follow up with Clark Commerce and make sure. We've still got time to make that happen. So that's the 20,000 trees program. I'm kind of proud of it, just stepping into climate change. One other thing that we were able to get in this year's budget toward addressing climate change is we're doing a comprehensive energy audit of the whole county, all the buildings, the cars, all that, to figure out what our energy profile really is. Because as we want to move forward and reduce our carbon footprint, you got to know where to start. So that's happening this year. It's probably going to cost us about $200,000 to do that, but we set the money aside, and that's going to happen. So that's pretty much what I came here to talk about, unless somebody has a question about the county. Diane?
Where do we get the trees?
You'll get the trees from your community. That's why I'm telling you to contact them.
Here, from Commerce, because
Right. Or we will be doing some distribution through the farmers markets too. We haven't gotten that piece figured out yet, but we know Michigan State Extension Master Gardener Program wants to do some distribution at the farmers markets. So some of those details will be worked out. Yeah. There are 2 farmers markets that Oakland County runs, one in Troy, or around Troy and Southfield, that general area, and then the one that's at the county complex in Pontiac. And I'm sure we'll be distributing out of those 2 as well. So, any other questions about the county? Probably more than you ever wanted to know. And this is my own pen. One more thing. Over on the counter over there are Oakland County directories. They're free. Take one if you want one. They have all kinds of, just good information if you want to call the county clerk or find out who does this or that at the county or township. It's got all the information for your local communities too, the phone numbers and so on. So please feel free to take them. They want us to push those out to folks. And my senior newsletter is there for any of you who might think you want to read it. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you very much. I think that Gwen's presentation really brings home, we're all very, very familiar with who represents us up ballot. Most of us can't name our county commissioner, or many of us cannot. And they're the ones that impact our day-to-day way, way more than the up ballot. And so those are the people we have to get in there and influence and make sure that they're representing our values. So Karen, would you like to say a few words as one of those people? Look how pretty she looks. We all spend a lot of time with Karen, and I spend time with her at the Y. And she looks good there, but she doesn't look like this. I told her she should wear the pin there, though.
I should wear my pin while I'm working out. But so I'm Karen Adams. This is the second time I am running for county commissioner. The last time I ran, thank you, we got close. I moved the needle. And so I just need about 4 more points, and we're there. I am running to really represent the district. For too long, we haven't had representation. There's sort of, no one knows this person, no one's seen her, and she doesn't show up. I promise to be transparent and available, and I will answer your email, your phone call. I will have town halls and coffees and those kinds of things, because I think that's really important to actually, if you're going to take on the job, you have to serve the constituents. A couple of the key issues that I'd like to work on, and I think the commission, now that it does have a slim majority, is starting to work on these things. In this area, we're really concerned about water quality, our lakes, our streams, and our aquifers, because I think most of us are on wells. And we've had PFAS contamination here in Milford, Huron River, but for the grace of God, it hasn't spread north, it's gone south. But you don't know, it's the next site they find, right? There's been other contamination up in Union Lake. So we need to really work on those things. And there is federal money available, but one has to ask for it. So you need representatives that will go in there, find the money, do the research, ask for it. And so I want to protect the natural resources here. We all depend on it, and that's what makes this section of the county so beautiful and desirable for us to live in. And the other thing we need is improved transportation and infrastructure. I know we've been trying to do something for transportation, and I think with a majority we could probably move that needle a little more forward. And again, I'm sure there are federal funds that we could help us move forward. I think we're losing out on a lot of opportunities and allowing young people to stay in the county because we don't have mass transit and we don't partner with the whole community, the surrounding counties. How many people really live here and work here? There are people that come here to work. There are people that go to other counties to work. And it would be nice to be able to use mass transit instead of getting in that horrendous drive. A lot of times I go over the M5 overpass looking at 96. I can't believe people do that every day. And it would be nice if we had some kind of transportation, light rail or something that people could not waste their time driving. And you could just have centers, park and rides, something. That's just a better system. And then infrastructure, our roads are falling apart. Our drains are falling apart, which also affects the roads. If there is water in place in some places, it's an old system. And failing septic systems. We all know that people don't like to hook up because it's expensive. But it's a public safety issue, and I'd like to look at ways to make it more affordable for people to not be afraid to test their septic systems and to maybe hook up to existing sewers. It would be a public health issue, and I think it's a safety issue. Those systems do not last forever, and they need to be upgraded and fixed or hooked up to a sewer line. But I think we need to help people with the funding of that. So those are kind of some of the issues I want to work on. I know there's been a couple plans for helping with health care in the county until we can get a better national plan in place. But again, there's federal money for clinics. We're not getting it because we haven't asked for it. So we need a commission that will ask for those things, find those monies. We're paying taxes. We're not getting it back. And so those are the kinds of things I'd like to work on. Any questions, anybody? Well, everybody go vote in the primary and vote in the general.
Thank you very much. And I can say, having been on many committees with Karen, she is an energizer bunny. And what she says she will do, she will do. We have one more thing that Nancy Check's going to give us an update on our own HIV. It's been a very long day. I have to have something every meeting, IHV. But first, real quick, since a couple people have left, and this is kind of our core group that made it out here tonight. The next meeting will not be on the second Tuesday. It will be on Wednesday. It will be on the third Wednesday because the second Wednesday is the first night of Passover. And we're trying to be respectful of that.
What's the date?
The date will be the 15th. It will be tax day. That will be easy to remember, right? That will go out to you in multiple mailings and notices. Yes. Yeah, we'll have some Manischewitz. Oh, no, sorry. First time I was ever served Manischewitz by my very bestest friend. I was like, you seriously drink this? Okay. I tried to be nice. So at any rate, it's going to be a really important meeting. We're going to work on our canvassing skills, some role playing, explore. There are some brand new things out there that Swing Left's developing for postcards and other letter writing campaigns. So I think it will be a really productive meeting. And also Dave Coulter's coming to talk to us too. So it will be a great meeting. I assume if Tim Hortons is open, Henry's still doing his why does it say second Saturday? Okay, second Saturday. Yes, that's what we're calling it now. SSS. Ooh. I don't know. I like my morning after, but okay. Tim Hortons, Saturday morning at 10. We're switching it up because a lot of people didn't show up on the Thursday. So if you want to just meet with like-minded people, have a cup of coffee, have a donut, and kind of talk about the issues you don't always get as much time to talk about at these meetings, have at it. I did just get a mailing saying the Oakland County Judicial Candidate Forum is canceled next week. So if you were, like me, planning to go to that, don't.
The 11th Congressional Caucus fundraiser on Saturday, that was a no-buy, that's canceled.
Okay, I haven't gotten that notice yet, so good to know. Okay. And as far as we know, Denise is still having her lunch.
And you know what? It might be a virtual launch, so
Stay tuned.
26, we'll either be at Baker's or we're going to be out and about on Facebook all day.
We can do a live Facebook launch, but Baker's would be way more fun.
Pictures of food.
We will meet in groups of 3 or 4. So stay tuned, and I'm going to Nancy update us on what's going on.
Hi. Sherry couldn't be here because she's sick. She does not have the coronavirus. She did go to the doctor. She wasn't tested, but she did go to the doctor. She just doesn't have all the symptoms for coronavirus, and she is on the mend. But she said she didn't want to come here coughing and sneezing, so she asked me to talk about Democracy 2020. I'm not going to do her full presentation. We're going to save that for April, so come back in April. Democracy 2020 is our political action campaign group, and we've been meeting monthly. Many of you are on that. Some of you are on that committee. And what we were able to do in 2018 was pretty amazing. Pat on my back, but pat on everybody's back. You guys all deserve all the credit. We worked very hard for Laura Dodd's campaign. That's the 44th district. It was a district that was, I think it's ranked third as far as electability, which meant we have better chance of snow in July. So, and she was able to move that needle 10 percentage points over to the left, which was amazing. And now our district is considered a level 2, which makes it that much, and that's significant because that has brought a lot of attention to our area. You saw with Caitlin's group coming into this area canvassing, that's all going to help us. So Denise Forrest, who you've met and heard a lot about tonight, is running for the 44th, and we're going to help her take that seat away from Matt Maddock. And I really do believe we can do this. I was very heartened. I worked the polls in Highland, and I was very heartened by what I saw. It seemed to me, just the impression I got, it seemed to me that a lot of Republicans are really not happy with this administration. And they're looking for alternatives. And that trickles all the way down to Matt Maddock. And he's hitched his wagon real tightly to Trump. So that can all help us and work in our favor. So some of you I think I hit everybody. If you fill these out, these are to help Denise get elected and flip that seat. We really need that flipped in the House of Michigan. We need 4 seats. Yeah, we need 4 seats in the House in order to flip the entire House. So if we get Denise, that's 1 more. And we're also working, we also encourage people who live in Commerce, Wolverine Lake like me, to also help Julia Pulver in the 39th. She is within striking distance, and we need to get those 2 in this area flipped. So write postcards, text, canvas. It's not that scary. You saw Caitlin canvassing, doing a tough canvas. Do it. We make that connection with people. It really makes a difference. And I think even better than in 2018, I think people in this area are ripe for that conversation. So I'm really encouraged. So if you fill these out, please, you can turn them into me at the end. Also, what we're doing with Democracy 2020 is we're getting a little bit smarter. We learned a lot from Laura's campaign. We learned a lot. I did things. I am one of those, Gwen mentioned the new people coming to politics. That's me. I never really campaigned. I never knocked on a door. I ran for a school board, got elected 20 years ago. It involved just putting signs on lawns. It was not a tough, it was not a tough sell. But I'm one of those new people, and I did things that I never thought I'd do. I text. I made phone calls. That's kind of scary. And actually, it's not that bad. I knocked doors. I got petitions. I stood out in front of the courthouse getting petitions in snow and rain for voters, not politicians. And it makes a difference. Every single one of the little things that you do makes a difference. And we had a campaign 2 years ago. We called it Doing Some Things. And we're going to do that again. We're going to count our somethings. And I was really thinking I was going to be optimistic and saying, we're going to get 40,000 somethings. And I thought, we'll never get 40,000 somethings. We went way over 40,000 somethings by the time we got done. And those somethings were writing letters to the editor in support of a candidate, knocking on doors, making phone calls, all those good things, writing thank you notes. Pat does thank you notes to donors for candidates. So anyways, please, I also encourage you to, if you don't see anything you like to do on these, and you're more of somebody who stays at home, maybe you have caregiving responsibilities, put your other in there. Pat Hensey writes thank you notes. I don't have a thank you note writer, but she needs help to write thank you notes to donors. So you write these personal thank you notes. She will help you with that. Give you scripts if you need help with that. So that's something that you like to do. That's something that somebody could do from home. So the other thing that we really need is we're getting smarter. And so we have Janet Prang, who is in charge of postcards. And one of the areas that we need help is she's in charge of postcards for the entire 44th. And she also lives in the 39th. So she's helping Julia Pulver as well with postcards. And but we're trying to get somebody who's a captain in each township, and the 44th includes Milford, Highland, White Lake, and Springfield townships. And we're trying to get somebody in each of those areas. And that person, and a little bit of Waterford, that's right. And we're trying to get somebody in each of those townships to work with Janet, to get materials from Janet, and get that out to the postcard parties in your township. So you'll be the liaison, you'll be the person, maybe Janet will drop off 200 postcards with you. You count out what you need to give to whoever's hosting the postcard party in your township. And you would run the pens and the postcards and make sure they got that material and got set up. And you will also help train or instruct that person how to run a postcard party. And don't worry about that because Janet is a postcard pro and she will train you. So if that is one, we need somebody in Highland. That is my ask. We really need somebody in Highland. Larry LeClaire is our Milford leader. And we have, I forgot who we have in White Lake. Is it Carolyn Coleth doing? I can't remember. I know she's doing, she's, right. Highland, Highland's the only one that's not covered. So if you have the volunteer sheet and you're interested in being the Highland captain for postcards, please put that on the
Also, if
sheet.
you're in Highland and you want to be a precinct delegate.
Yeah, we really need precinct delegates in Highland.
Delegates in Highland. We're getting Milford pretty covered, we're getting Commerce pretty covered, but Highland is still kind of a desert. Not even worrying about Springfield County.
Yeah.
But if we could get some coverage up in Highland, it would be really helpful.
Also, I'm all done with that. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay. Suzanne, is it Suzanne or Susan? Susan. Susan is staying on. She is working with Caitlin from the Hometown Voices. She's sticking around. Caitlin had to leave, and so she'll answer any questions. Caitlin asked me to make that announcement because she forgot. And then, who next? Come forward.
Representative from Julia's campaign, a representative from Andy's campaign that just wanted to say a couple words.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else I missed that's here from the campaign? Okay, and somebody from Haley Stevens' campaign.
Oh, okay, great. So
And
this
is
is,
one of our first
what is your
meetings
name?
where
Deanne? Deanne.
Good meeting.
This is Deanne, and she is going to speak on behalf of Julia Pulver.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for coming out. I will make this relatively quick because I know you've got a lot of business to do. My name is Deanne Mikowski. I am Julia Pulver's campaign coordinator. And we have been sending postcards like mad. Thousands of postcards have been done. We have a few thousand left. So Janet over here has been amazing. She's been just tearing through our postcards. I have packets of 35 and packets of 100. I have a whole box over there, so I will stick around, see me afterwards. They're really easy to do. You don't have to write really anything besides just pertinent information. It's already kind of filled out for you with a message, so you don't have to sit there and be like, what am I going to say? You know what to say. Also, I wanted to plug her website, juliapulver.com. Go there. You can sign up to get our email and to volunteer. We can flip this seat. District 39 is within our grasp. We cannot do it ourselves. We will need as many hands on deck as we can get. I have a sign-up sheet on this table if you are willing to risk virtual paper right now. Not virtual, real paper instead of the virtual. That's right. Use your own pen. Don't sneeze on it. Don't touch your face. So yeah, please go to juliapulver.com, sign up. We are, save the date, we are looking to have a Canvas launch on March 28th. That's a Saturday. More info on that to come as we figure out what places make sense to hit first. Grab some postcards. Oh, if you do postcards for us, you can donate the postage. If you do that, we need a receipt, okay? But you can donate the postage, or if you're like, I don't have money for postage, just give the postcards back to us, info@juliapulver.com. Send me an email. I'll get someone to pick them up. And we really, really appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nomi, and I'm a campaign coordinator for Andy Meisner. And we are having our Canvas launch this Sunday. I'm looking for people who want to walk in parades with us, if the parades don't get canceled, and also who want to host house parties. And if you want to be apprised about what's going on with Andy's campaign, come and see me. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Smith. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Haley Stevens' campaign manager. I started about a month ago, so I just wanted to say hello, let you know that we're getting things up and running here. I know a lot of you did a lot of work for the Congresswoman last cycle, and I just want to thank you so much for all the support you gave her, and we're definitely going to need that again this year. It's going to be a tough race, and I look forward to working with you all. If you have any questions or you want to get my contact information, feel free to come. I'll hang around after for a while so we can chat. Thank you.
Okay, Steve, I want a camera on that clock. This doesn't ever happen. Yes, Gwen.
I'd just like to make one more point, real quick. The U.S. Census is still looking for census workers in this area. They're paying $22 to $24 an hour. The work will start April 1st, roughly, and goes to about July. So it's a nice little part-time job for a short period of time, but they are really desperate for census workers. Yes.
We had somebody come out to the MLK March.
Mm-hmm.
And a recruiter.
Okay.
Okay, and I filled out, myself and my husband filled out applications online on January 19th, I believe. And I have called the Troy office twice to ask them what the status is, and they say, yes, we see your stuff on there. We are getting from Chicago, they're telling us how many people to come in. And then we get a list of people that we call, and if you don't pick up, when I look through my missed calls or anything, they've never called. So, is there anything you can do to get our names moved to the top of the list?
Probably not. Really. You're the first one I've heard that's had difficulty with it, but...
Yeah, no, they got a hold of me over the weekend. In fact, the same board is 24.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think, there's like, Steve, who was,
fairly quick.
who was it? Oh, Holly. Holly,
Okay.
who's not here because she's sick.
Definitely keep trying, I know.
Got the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Got the fingerprinted, got the tax information, and hasn't heard another word since. And she filled it out in November.
Sometimes there are turnovers in local coordinators.
Right. And I think that they're training specific duties at specific times. They're bringing people in waves.
Right.
So that may be part of what's happening, but I'm surprised you haven't been contacted by now since you applied way back in January. So I can't help you with that. I don't know the answer.
So much faith in you, Gwen.
I know.
Oh my gosh. We did put that information on applying in a newsletter. We could repeat it in this next one coming up, and it is on our Facebook page. You might have to dig a bit because it was posted a while back. But we could repeat that, yeah, in the letter that goes out after this meeting. Yeah, Susan.
If you don't mind, I just want to ask a question. Would it be possible to push it up somewhere? Like whoever suggested that they needed help? You know what I mean? I'm just wondering.
Push it up. I'm not sure.
Up in whoever is asking
Oh, I can move it to the top of the page. I just have to dig it up. What do you mean push what?
No, relative to the census takers.
I think they probably just have to make some more context, don't we?
Yeah, there's a big kickoff later this week.
Okay.
at the county, so I'll make sure and mention that I've talked to some
That people
folks
aren't being contacted? That would be great. I wasn't sure what your question was. I'm sorry. Okay, for closing, we have our wonderful mental health specialist, Pat Hinsey. So we said we were going to try to periodically get you more computer savvy. So I'm going to get John back on the agenda here. Since how many people are doing Countable, by the way, after he in-serviced us? It's fantastic. I mean, they give you updates on your computer all the time. It's really wonderful. So it popped up on my husband, my techie husband, who used to be more techie than me. He's not here, I can say this. It popped up on his phone. He goes, "What is this?" Because it took a while, and it took a while on mine, too, before it actually showed up on my phone as being there. I said, "That's that thing." So at any rate, it is cool. So if you didn't sign up yet, explore it. But anyway, we said we were going to periodically try to do, mental health care tips. We can all use that.
So there she goes. Thank you. Thank you. So I think it fits right in when you think about all that we've been told tonight that's out there, that people that need us to work for them. It's like, wow. So some of you may remember I think it was in January, I was able to give a few pointers on self-care or stress management. And certainly after hearing everything tonight, it's like, wow, we all need it. And if you remember, I had a little glass that, we talked about was like 8 ounces. And if you hold it out here, it's really not a big deal. Well, I thought maybe tonight we needed a bigger glass. And of course, even 10 minutes would be, I know, a problem holding it out that long. And that's what we're talking about in terms of stress and taking care of ourselves. We need to learn to say, I have to take care of me and not feel guilty about it. Or, from Disney itself, the movie Frozen, I thought there's the song "Let It Go," and that's what we're talking about. And I was going to bring Allie and Maddie, my 2 young granddaughters, out to sing it because, of course, they love that song and they think they know all the words, but they don't really know all the words. But and I'm not going to sing it. You're glad I'm not. But we do need to let some of it go. You've heard a lot of things tonight that you can pick and choose. We do need you to do things, but we also need you to take care of yourself and say no. One of my friends that's involved said, sometimes I feel guilty when I don't sign up for everything. It's like, no, don't feel guilty. Take care of yourselves. We want you to be involved, but we also want you to take care of yourself. So that's what my message is tonight. Don't be holding this out there for any length of time. And the truth, there's some truth to that saying about laughter being a good medicine for us and helps us, it relieves it uplifts us, and it just makes us feel a little better. So I'm glad you laughed about Allie and Maddie. They would have been cute coming here tonight. I do have somebody coming. It's not until June, but June kind of kicks off our campaign, although we're kicking off Denise and all of you other people a little before there. But I think June's going to be like, oh my goodness, we have a lot to do. So I have a good friend who worked for Huron Valley Schools, psychologist, and she's coming. She's super, and she's going to talk in more detail about taking care of ourselves. So that's what's going on. Thank you all. I'm so glad you all came tonight, too.
We dance well together. And I'm going to share something can I just share a mental health thing? This works for me. I am a horse show mom. Many of you know that about me. And it's a very nerve-wracking experience. I've done it with this child since she was 10 years old, so over 25 years. And how many people are familiar with square breathing? Okay. It's a yoga technique, and I will tell you that if you take 2 minutes and square breathe when you're feeling overwhelmed, it will make a difference. And what I do is tie it. I made my book club read The Power of Now. And I'm a kind of big believer in what he purports with mini meditations throughout your day. And I tie it to just my brain saying, let go, or now. And square breathing just means you breathe in for so many counts, hold it for so many counts, breathe out for so many counts, and then hold for so many counts. And if you take time to do that for 2 minutes, you will be amazed. I played with my husband's blood pressure machine, And doing that, I dropped my blood pressure, which is not particularly high, but I dropped it 10 points. So it really take time and breathe. And if you want to know this, according to First Magazine, if you do that and breathe regularly like that, you will lose weight. So, all kinds of reasons, just saying. But taking time to breathe makes all the difference in the world, and that's what we forget to do. We don't breathe. So thank you all for coming. We never finish 5 minutes early. I'm not sure. We just had those presenters from far away who had to get home, I guess. But take them in. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Karen. Karen, go.
Mention this, and this is take care of yourself. It goes with I'm having Pie Day
Yes, Pie Day, guys.
a day early because there was supposed to be a big event on Saturday. But anyway, I make pie because I like to. And
She makes really good pies.
I just say that. It's my one talent. That's what I do. You have a lot of talent, Karen. Well, I'm really good at this one because I'm not crafty. Okay, so I'm making pies. It's a little fundraiser. I'm suggesting 31.45. Come on over, have some pie with us. We'll have an assortment. My house will smell great. There's mom pie baking. It's 6 o'clock at my house on Friday. And it won't be a large gathering, so you probably won't be fine.
You can have your whole own pie. You don't have to share your pie. Okay, anything else?
I just want to say, I have told Julia's campaign, since I know there's a few people here from Commerce, but I know the vast majority of you are Milford people, but we do want to work on the 39th and not just the 44th. And if you are willing to do things for postcards specifically as a Commerce person, I'm probably going to ask Lori to just send me a list, if she can like segregate the list as to just Commerce people, and you might be getting a phone call from me. That's okay if you let it go to voicemail first. I will leave a voicemail for you. But I have told Deanne that whatever you guys don't pick up to take home is for postcards for Julia to fill out, like a packet of 35 or 100. Whatever she's got in that box that's not picked up by you guys today, I'm taking home. So.
It doesn't sound like much of a threat. Just saying.
More of a I've got your back, but come on.
Yeah, I got it. And we're not, we don't have ours going that strong yet. So, we all got time to do it.
Do
Yes.
this now. Do the other stuff when you get the postcards, right, Denise?
You just,
When you get them.
Okay.
Go, Connie.
just to restate the date, the launch party for Denise is March 26th, Thursday, March 26th, and keep your eyes open in case we have to do it digital.
IHV.
We also have campaign donation slips up at the top. We have to do that. We have to raise money.
I know, it takes some dollars.
Those campaign slips are up here at the counter in case you can't make it to the party.
Great. All right. Anything else? New business? All right. Meet and greet and stack some chairs.